Hi, everyone.
Hello. Page 565 of In Search of Christian Freedom, in the chapter An Appealing Promise Unfulfilled. This subhead is the fruitage of hope. Ray has been making the case that the Watchtower has substituted faith in a victorious organization, men, for faith in God in Christ. And now he wants to make the case too that they have a substitute hope, not the hope of the Bible. So he begins, the Christian hope undergoes similar adulteration and substitution. Focus is in an opposite direction to that stated by the apostle, who wrote, quote, "So if you have been raised with Christ, seek the things that are above, where Christ is, seated at the right hand of God. Set your minds on things that are above, not on things that are on the earth." End of quote. That's from Colossians 3, verses 1 and 2. In the first century, it was because of their concern for fulfillment of earthly desires, including liberation from oppression by worldly powers and the restoration and enjoyment of many physical blessings, that many found God's Son a disappointment as to fulfilling their messianic hopes. They failed to appreciate the far more wonderful liberation and blessing he actually accomplished. Their false hopes blinded them to the true hope and caused them to acquiesce in the death of God's Son.
As discussed in the previous chapter, one of the great attractions for people to associate with the Watchtower organization is precisely its emphasis on fulfillment of physical earthly desires. Those hopes and expectations are simultaneously excited by the assurance that the anticipated fulfillment is soon to be realized, very close, at the doors, right at hand. Assurances that are based on human interpretations and which are repeated over and over again. When foretelling the coming of the false messiahs, Christ spoke also of men who would come, saying, "The time is very near now." And he counseled, "Never follow men like that." And that's from Luke 21, verse 8.
The true Christian hope is not based on mere desire or wishful thinking, but on reality. That genuine hope is faith strengthening, contributes to endurance, for it is solidly based and unwavering, an anchor to the soul, according to 1 Thessalonians 1:3 and Hebrews 6:18-20. Because of this, it does not disappoint or defraud. It is always reliable and inspires confidence. By contrast, the hopes excited by the Watchtower, often tied in with certain dates, have again and again led to disappointment, and for many to disillusionment. The expectations aroused proved to have had no more substance than a mirage, no more stability than a will-o'-the-wisp, or no more constancy than the shimmering, undulating light produced by swamp gas. Young people have confidently believed that they would never grow old in this system of things, and have predicated all their plans and steps on that belief. But they have grown old, and have often faced difficult, even depressing problems because of the decisions they made in earlier years, decisions largely controlled by a falsely based hope. Yet the organization, wedded as it is to its 1914 date, continues claiming to know for an absolute certainty that the time is very near now, that people in the particular time frame indicated can confidently believe it is possible to escape from the very experience of dying. There's nothing upbuilding about such illusionary hopes. To the contrary, they are destructive of true hope, weakening to genuine faith.
In an unusually candid memorandum sent to the headquarters writing department in 1978, one branch office described the effect of the organization's chronological speculations and the kind of motivation this produces, saying, quote, "Then there is the question of Bible chronology and motives. Many brothers started to preach positively that the new order would come in 1975, or shortly thereafter. They aroused the interest of some people who sought further information about the new order and liked what they heard. they also became convinced on basic doctrines. So they got baptized and shared in worship with the congregation. Many were evidently motivated by their vision of the new order and the nearness of it. It was largely a materialistic motivation. When 1975 came and passed without bringing in the new order, such ones, not having a strong enough spiritual motivation, saw it best to return to running with the world in the quest of material things in the hope of enjoying a better order in the present system of things. Sadly, many who were much longer in the truth have been affected in a similar way. Since 1975, or in about 3 years' time, about 30,000 have either drifted away from the truth or have become irregular in the service in this country. That was from the Nigerian branch.
Yeah.
But even in this, I find it disturbing that they more or less accuse the people who leave of just being, not, seeing that we were false prophets, but as being materialistic, that was their motivation. We're saying you're going to live in paradise, you're never going to die. Well, that's an appealing message. Then you're surprised when they find out it's not true, that they leave.
And it never occurs to you when you're a Jehovah's Witness that that's the original lie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of the devil.
The serpent's original lie. You positively will not die.
Yeah.
Now, we've been using that as the carrot for 5 generations now. So 5 generations of Jehovah's Witnesses and their predecessors have died believing that.
Yeah.
That they would never die or never have to die.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're using the Armageddon stick. They're still hanging on to 1914, and they're using the the carrot is you won't have to die, and the stick is Armageddon dead ahead. So this Armageddon alarmism has also characterized them for the whole 5 generations.
Mm-hmm.
So next time, Ray's going to start to dwell on that, the Armageddon alarmism, the only way they can keep the flock moving.
Mm.
And we're going to link. Forgot the link.
Oh, yeah.
Life and death. In Genesis chapter 2, the first time that death is mentioned, it's very important to get the context. So that's part of a series. So we'll also put the playlist on the screen. The first one, Life and Death in Genesis chapter 2, and also the playlist, which is called
I don't know.
What JW org is not telling you about life and death.
Yeah. Right.